Hare Krishna. So very warm welcome to everyone today. We are very fortunate to have with us His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj. Maharaj was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 1972, and since then Maharaj has served Srila Prabhupada in various countries all around the world. Most notably, Maharaj has served in the United Kingdom, Africa, Malaysia, Europe, Philippines, New Zealand, and recently in France. Maharaj has been the main driving force behind the World Holy Name Initiative and is also a member of the GBC Committee for Kirtan Standards. In 2002, Maharaj also published a wonderful book called Animals and Krishna Consciousness. In that book, Maharaj very nicely describes so many animals that have come to Krishna consciousness, including one extraordinary cow in Malaysia called Vishaki. Vishaki would come every week to the programs, stand up for kirtan, and sit down during the lectures. She would be the first to attend the programs, and she also started attending Mangalarti. In New Zealand, Maharaj has served at ISKCON Auckland for many years, and was also involved with the construction of the beautiful temple, Sri Sri Radhagiridhari temple that we see today. Maharaj accepted the renounced sort of life, sannyas, in 2007, and Maharaj continues to travel and spread the message of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada all over the world, even today. Maharaj's love for kirtan, harinam, and drama, as well as his humorous and very humble nature, has attracted so many souls to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Shri Krishna. So let's all welcome Maharaj and all of his wonderful disciples today by loudly chanting Hare Krishna 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Center. We're in lower hut still. Yes. We just heard the challenging news from dear Ambarish Maharaj Prabhu's family who just expired. So, and a big warning to all of us. This is the nature of this world. Maybe you could say unnatural in a certain way. Such events take place. I'm sure you're all aware of that. But we all do have to face the reality that one day we also have to face it. Whether it's in such a situation as we just heard about, or whether it's in a different situation. The truth is we all have to face it one day, whether we like it or not. And so it's a warning to all of us. It's a wake-up call. You know how difficult it is, how challenging it is when it's our turn. We have to prepare ourselves, help others to prepare themselves. We didn't come prepared this evening for anything special. But somebody phoned up, I don't know who was that, asking if we wanted a PowerPoint, wanted a projector. So first point, we don't have anything ready. I had lots of things ready, but I didn't bring them. And then I thought, well, let's sing some bhajans. Life is the bhajan. That doesn't mean sitting around singing to ourselves. Bhajan is when our heart is connected to Krishna. So we're worshipping, we're singing the Krishna center, the Krishna pleasure. It's not just a song. It's not just, feeling good, something for our own pleasure, but it's actually the connection with Krishna. When we're connected with Krishna through offering our hearts, our words, our mind, everything to the pleasure of Krishna. So bhajan, kirtan is also, kirtan doesn't necessarily mean exactly to Krishna, but in our line it means glorification of Krishna also. Bhajan particularly is for the drawing us closer to Krishna. And we're very fortunate, all of us here today. Some of you may not be familiar. Is anyone here coming to this program for the first time? Anyone else coming for the first time? Your first time here. Not your first time to a Hare Krishna program, is it? What's your name? Was it Nicholas? Aha.
Nandishwar.
Nandishwar. Okay, Nandishwar. Welcome. Is this your first time? You came from Kailash? Your first time coming to Lower Hut? In program? First time Nandishwar Prabhu. So you're living in Wellington now?
We haven't found a situation for us yet.
For us means you and your partner? Oh, very good. So you're not sure where you are right now? Somewhere between Kailash and Lower Hut. Whatever, Krishna will arrange. And you've also come for the first time? Another gentleman here? First time? First time to a Hare Krishna program?
No, it's not. In India I am going.
Where in India?
Harvard. Harvard.
Vrindavan? Karnataka? Karnataka? Or where in Karnataka?
Harvard. Harvard. Film city.
Hubli.
Hubli? Hubli.
Rayapur.
Mayapur? Raipur. But Raipur is not in Karnataka.
This is Gujarat.
Raipur, but I thought Raipur was in, either it's in Maharashtra or this new state, what's it called? Chhattisgarh or something. Anyway, whatever. You've been to the Hare Krishna program before somewhere in Karnataka. Any ladies first time? No, you've all been before. But I think everybody is quite familiar with some of the basics of the Hare Krishna movement and its purposes. If I asked you what was the purpose of the Hare Krishna movement, what would you say? I'm asking you, what will you say? Put your hand up if you want to offer a suggestion. What is the purpose of the Hare Krishna movement? Yes?
Bring people closer to Krishna.
Very good answer. Good answer. To bring people closer to Krishna. Was that an answer for the Sometimes, maybe that's the correct answer, we do scream sometimes in the Hare Krishna movement, don't we? Some of the things that we do and happen make us scream. Because we're not so transcendental sometimes, but It's a nice answer, thank you for that. What would you say? Anything more about that answer? Perhaps you can think of another reason. But about that answer, what would you say? Yes?
It is Yuga Dharma, that Nama Sankirtana.
Pardon?
It is Yuga Dharma.
Oh, very nice. Again, same thing, but just adding a practical perspective in terms of the method of bringing people closer to Krishna. Objective and the method to achieve the objective, right? Is it only the ladies here who have any idea? The men are all dumb. What's wrong with the boys? You have to preach to them, wake them up. They're all sleeping over here. Well, they're all under the sun. They've got them all under the sun. You're told them all, keep quiet. So, yes. Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya. What did Lord Chaitanya say about taking your point there to bring everyone to Krishna consciousness and your point, Yuga Dharma? Can you put the two together and think of something Lord Chaitanya said? I won't bother looking at you. I'm looking at stones. Smiling stones. More smiling stones over here. As long as you're not rolling stones. Anyone like to say? Okay, one of the gentlemen's woken up. Okay, very good. That's kind of an individual, you could say, an individual application. Yadadeki Pada Pada Krishna Pradesh Maharaj Guru that wherever you are, even if you're in lower hut, or upper hut, or middle hut, or even if you're in a hut, or not in a hut, or you're in a rut. Lord Chaitanya has given this directive to a grihastha, devotee, wherever you are, you don't have to run around the world, even here in Lower Hut. You can be here and simply, Lord Chaitanya said, that we should stay and practice Krishna consciousness, and according to what we have understood and heard, realized from the Shastras, Guru, etc., we should preach. Preaching is a very broad term, it's not just verbal, practical example of how we behave. And inspire people to be what they are in relationship with Krishna. We're connecting people to Krishna. Actually, everyone's connected, we've just forgotten the connection. So reminding people of their connection. Anyone, even people walking on the street here. 1968, Prabhupada was talking in Montreal, and he was asked a question by Prajumna, I think it was Prajumna, his Sanskrit editor, etc. later on, who asked the question, what does it mean to be expert? Prabhupada says, it means to understand your position and play it for Krishna. It doesn't only refer to going to a school and learning how to play on the gungo, or how to drive a car, or how to be an engineer, or doctor, or whatever it is. But it's finding out the part given to us by the Lord and playing that part. He said, that's expert. And then he started talking a little bit about Varna Ashram, the division of society according to nature and quality of work, etc. And described the Varna Ashram is already there. We sometimes think we have to create it. No, it's already there. Our business is to enlighten people to do what they're doing for Krishna. Automatically Varna Ashram is there. There are already teachers, managers, businessmen and workers in society everywhere in the world. So our mission is that we impregnate, or let's say, awaken this understanding. You can do what you do with Krishna's center. Varnashram will ultimately be, let's say, manifested in that consciousness. Not trying to imitate play someone else's part. Again, we see in the Bhagavad Gita's 3rd chapter that Krishna is emphasizing this point to Arjuna. Particularly works according to their nature, everyone's born with a certain nature. But Krishna consciousness is to help us to realize where we can play our part with Krishna in the center. So that's Lord Chaitanya's instruction. So preaching, we're playing our part with Krishna in the center, or showing how everyone, no matter who they are, can be Krishna conscious. Preaching. It's not changing what they are, but the direction or the object behind what they're doing or what they are, and channeling towards Krishna. And of course the details, basic principle. And that way you be a guru from the lower hut or upper hut, wherever you're from. Tony, wherever, New Lands, wherever you come from. So what else did Lord Chaitanya, it was referred to Lord Chaitanya, you may not have said it, but in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, summarizing this mission, these 2 points, what does Krishnadas Kaviraj say? Lord Chaitanya also said it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita about this mission of connecting everyone with Krishna through the Yuga Dharma. That's one thing. That's kind of like an individual instruction for each and every one of us. Let's take it in a more universal, broader instruction. Service of the Yuga Dharma. Famous verse. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Very good. What else? Harinam, Harinam, very good. What else? That's establishing the Yuga Dharma. In terms of the Lord Chaitanya's order, instruction.
I don't know the exact word, but he orders every man to accept this Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Lord Chaitanya orders every man to accept this.
Yeah, he did. That's getting into an extension. In a Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see Lord Chaitanya. Particularly, he also repeats the words that everyone born of an Indian background should make their life successful and preach Krishna consciousness to all others around the world. Okay, fine. There's a very simple verse, Prativadiyachanati Nagaradigram Savaka Putra. Lord Chaitanya said, in every town and village of the world, my holy name shall be heard and chanted. This is the mission of Krishna consciousness in every town and village, to spread the holy name all around. That's Prabhupada's mission. And it's not just what we call kirtan or bhajan, it's also distributing the Brihadanga everywhere. They're very significant. Yesterday was the Avribhava Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, who put so much emphasis in this age upon the importance of distributing books about Krishna, relevant and bona fide literatures, which will help you to realize the importance of connecting with Krishna, the importance of applying the Yuga Dharma, the importance of living Krishna consciousness, etc., which was the main emphasis which our spiritual master gave, was book distribution. And that's, for all of us, the mood of ISKCON, mission of ISKCON, mission of the Hare Krishna movement, to give, we read, perhaps you've read, the mission statement, the mission statement. Some places always say what's it called? This one, what's it called?
Purpose.
Incorporation, some document, where it describes the various purposes of Islam. Well, Prabhupada quoted the Constitution initially, and it was described as the incorporation paper or something. But there, Prabhupada outlines the purpose of this mission. Disseminate knowledge, educate people in the techniques of spiritual life. To help people to live with Krishna in the center, to create places of spiritual understanding where people can come and get that association in the holy places and so on. And the purpose of these various things to help people to realize that they're eternal part and parcel of Krishna and not this body. To realize all these various things, also to produce literatures to explain them. We put a lot of emphasis on this as the foundation of our movement. You could say the keys of law book, like law keeps everything law and order. To keep everything in the right direction, we have to study these literatures. And if we want to fulfill the purpose of this movement, distribute them to others. Individually, as you said, someone said to connect everyone to Krishna. Where's she gone? She disappeared. She's already gone. She's already connected with Krishna. She flew through the ceiling and went back up to Godhead. She disappeared. Where's she gone?
She went to
Pardon? Gone to the kitchen. Well, that's the best way to connect with Krishna. Through the stomach. Easy way to connect. So we're also one of those people. To connect people to Krishna, that means us. If we're not connected to Krishna, it's kind of theoretical, isn't it? We're telling everyone else, you should be connected to Krishna. You're a Krishna's servant. You're a Krishna's part and parcel. And we're not connected ourselves much. We're connected to all the material energies and attachments and so on. It's not very convincing. We have to show people how you can be yourself, but connected to Krishna. And not, controlled by the material elements. When something happens in this material world, we're lost. We run here, we run there, I'm completely overwhelmed by the material energy, mundane emotion. It may happen because we're not pure, but we have to rise above that. Arjuna also was overwhelmed for a while with mundane emotions. But he got out of it. Through hearing this knowledge about the people. So without that knowledge, the tendency is we will be sentimentalists. And when we're faced with a real challenge, we'll become overwhelmed. So there's a necessary combination, you say, of sentiment and philosophy to become stronger in our realization by applying the knowledge in our life in a correct way. And realizations, by putting it into practice, we get realizations, particularly when we try to distribute this knowledge to others. In this country is quite easy. Now, most of the devotees here are from Indian descent. If I look around the room, I can maybe see two, maybe three devotees here today who are not of Indian descent. Maybe there's a few more, but I can only see three. One's from Kailash, one's from Hamilton, and China. Three. I can't. I may be wrong. Maybe someone's from, don't say England or Australia where you're from Gujarat background or whatever it is. But anyone from another country background? Oh, Chile. 4. Japan? 5.
Malaysia.
Malaysia's Indian descent. You may be born in New Zealand, your family is Indian, you may be born in Malaysia, your family is from Tamil Nadu or somewhere down there, from Kerala or somewhere. So we may have 5 who've come from, kind of a different lineage, whatever you call it. And plus myself, I suppose. I think that's it. Even Fiji is, some of you are from Fiji? Who's from Fiji? How many Fijians? But don't be too shy. Come on. There's nothing wrong with being from Fiji. I can see a hand, but I can't see a body going on. Is there a body underneath? Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 or so. And most of you are from either here or India or Malaysia. How many from Malaysia? 2. From Malaysia. Singapore? No. Australia? I mean, you may be living or born there, I suppose. Sri Lanka? No. Mongolia?
Pakistan.
You're from Pakistan? Karachi side?
Yes.
Quite a lot of Indian people from Pakistan. Bangladesh? Not so many Bengalis here in Wellington. Not so many?
No.
No.
There's some in the temple.
Pardon?
There's a few in the temple.
I'm sure they're trying to get here, I'm sure. In Malaysia now, there's over 1 million Bangladeshis. They don't know how many there is. Hard to count. Maybe 2 million. Not sure. And in many countries, it's just hundreds and thousands, hundreds. Even in France, they're coming in by the tens of thousands of Bangladeshi people. Many Hindus. A lot of Hindus. Nepal? Anyone from Nepal? We just came from Hobart a week or so ago. 5,000 Nepalis living in Hobart. Hobart's like not even half the size of Wellington. Thank you. I was feeling like a banana. I feel like a banana. 5,000 Nepalis in Hobart. That's a lot, isn't it? The city's only 170,000 population. I don't know why they're there, I don't know. Like that, people are spreading out. But you're from? Wellington is spreading all the Indian people out all over the world. Most of that means East Africa. Anyone from East Africa? Kenya? No. Kenya? Uganda, Tanzania, or South Africa? South Africa? A lot of South Africans in New Zealand. Zambia. Anyone from South Africa? South Africa? Zambia. Oh, you're from Zambia. Wow. Amazing. So some of you are from different, but you're coming from an Indian stock. So, Lord Chaitanya, and I guess the rest of you are directly from India, is that right? Or born in New Zealand or something. But Indian family lineage. And it's their responsibility, but then, as Janananda said, everyone, and then Lord Chaitanya says, yes, those who are born in an Indian stock, they should make their most important duty to spread this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. But even if you're not, he said, I order every man, woman in the universe to take up Krishna consciousness and give it to others. So if everyone's right, to spread the holy name to others. And distribute books. You can all do that. Distributing books is not such a difficult thing. What's the secret of distributing books? I mean, Prabhupada's books. You have Bhagavad Gita's? You have a book table here? Where's the book table? Where's the book table?
It's a shelf.
Where?
It's over there. But
We used to have.
It's over there.
We
See
used
it
to
over
have.
there?
Today it's not.
You can all see the book table over there. What's happened is that all the books have gone already before the program started. You all bought all the books. There's none left. All gone. one of the important things is, I can tell you frankly, that Srila Prabhupada, because this is world devotees pretty much friends to what we're before. But Prabhupada was, at any program, he would always say, so, how many books were distributed? That was the success. And you say, I may already have, I've got all these books. Don't be greedy and selfish. You may have. But I would imagine there are some people in Lower Hutt who don't have. They may even Indian people. Whatever. So it is this mission. If we want to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada, this is the best way to get it. To share Krishna consciousness with others. So in distributing books, what's the secret of book distribution? What's the secret? First, the secret of book distribution. Yes, please.
Faith in the books?
Faith in the books, again. Good. I'm thinking a bit more simpler than that. And tonight is a good example of this. Yes, sir.
To try.
Huh?
To try.
To try, okay. That goes down very well with the New Zealanders, the All Blacks and all that sort of stuff. Definitely have to make the effort, that's for sure. Another one?
Get books.
Who said that?
I can take some books here.
Who said that? Did you say that? Kind of. Just word it slightly differently. How many books will you distribute if you don't have any? How many?
None.
None. How many books will you distribute tonight if there's no books here? None. The first principle of book distribution is to have books. You can't distribute books if you don't have them. Isn't it? Simple. Logic. If you don't have any food, how can you distribute food? You may have faith in food, right? But you haven't got any. Somebody's starving, they say, I'm starving. Well, I have great faith in food. Keep your faith to yourself, right? I want food, not faith. Right? Well, I'm going to try, but there's no ball. How are you going to score a try if you have no ball? You're playing rugby, but there's no rugby ball. How are you going to win? Right? You're running along like mad, and you jump over the line, bang on the ground. I scored a try. There's no ball. You're going to look at it as a mad guy. You're going to have a ball. You're going to have books. First thing. What's the second principle? You can add these things. Obviously, faith and trying. These are important, no doubt. But what's the second principle of distributing books? You think you've got faith. Like I say, you say it's related. It is related to trying. In specific terms, what's the next thing if you want to distribute books? You're walking on the street, in your handbag, ladies, gentlemen, whatever you carry, maybe not a handbag, maybe some backpack or something. What's the next thing? You've got some books in there.
Should have read them.
Even if you haven't read them, that doesn't mean they're going to be distributed. But even if you read them, I know hundreds and thousands of, not thousands, hundreds of those who've read the books, but they don't distribute them. Yes?
Patience.
Patience you may have, but how much patience? Yes?
Just actually distribute it.
You have to show people. They're not going to, you may be very patient, you can wait 100 years, but they're not going to jump out of your bag. You're going to take them out of the bag and show them to people, right? Sooner or later. They're not going to distribute themselves. It's unlikely. Maybe sometimes somebody's going to come up and grab your bag open. I'm looking for a Krishna book. Have you got one in the bag? Give me the book. No, that's my bag. No, I want the book. Let it go. No, it's mine. It's in my bag. It's unlikely that's going to happen. very rare. You've got to get them out of the bag and show them to people, right? Isn't it? Quite simple. It's not very complicated. Krishna does the rest. Well, now, of course, he's reciprocating, so generally, if we want to mention, someone mentioned patience, someone mentioned faith, someone mentioned trying, we often lose our patience. Nobody's taking a book. I don't know if I have faith in this whole thing, it's not working. Different emotional negativities may come up. So we need good spiritual practices ourselves, so we don't, get, let's say, detoured away from the goal or the mission. So good sadhana, good spiritual practices are also required en route. There are other things too, but there are those three simple things. So I would, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, it's just a request or suggestion that you think about that. Everybody can be an instrument for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. We may not be philosophical, we may be a little nervous sometimes. What's the little girl's leaving us? She's gone outside. I don't know her name. Her father's just left her out in the street where it looks. Where's the girl? Pardon? Oh, there's not that boat, sorry. She's fine, no problem with her. She was just, oh, here she comes, she's come back again. So, it's not so difficult. Krishna will make, you'd be surprised. Or maybe a relative. Maybe it's a relative you can, maybe, you have a friend who's a vegetarian. Maybe at work. You can, just like to give through this little book, Higher Taste or something. Maybe some people have a little interest in reincarnation or the soul. Come on, give them a go. This might help you to understand more. Please take it. This way you become an instrument to spread Krishna consciousness, a part of Lord Chaitanya's movement, and not just a spectator, but a part of it. Do you understand? It's not so difficult. It's maybe not so easy, but it's also not so difficult. And as someone said, we have to try at least. If we don't try, we're definitely not going to succeed either. That will increase your faith. It will help you to develop patience, your tolerance, your humility, your respect. And this is also bhajan. Worshipping Krishna. Worshipping Krishna. And there are other ways of spreading this knowledge. Other methods like that. Now we have, wonderful modern technological ways of spreading the knowledge. We have all these internet and Facebook and Twitter, is that what it's called? Twitter? Different things like that, and probably a few more. The mobile or whatever. But we all know there's a bit of a challenge there sometimes. Because our tendency is sometimes to we start off with good intentions and then, we open the computer or go on Facebook or something. We tend to kind of get deviated in a different direction. We forget what we went on for sometimes. And after an hour, we go, wait a minute, what did I come on here for? Oh, I went on here to download some Krishna conscious information. And you forgot about it 1 hour later or something. You went on there to send a message, Krishna conscious message, but you saw some of the other messages coming in, and you got caught with those incoming messages or something. It's very easy, isn't it? It's powerful energy. It can easily captivate us. Again, good sadhana will help protect us from being diverted on our path. If you're on that path, maybe you're not, but if you are. And the same thing in chanting the holy names, right? That's not just a personal badge, and it's also meant to be shared with others. To give the holy name to everyone, that's another part, or a major part of Prabhupada's constitutional principles of this movement, to spread the chanting of the holy names. Everyone can do that. It's not only spiritually purifying, it's makes them very satisfied. One disciple in England, his name is Vishnu Priya, she's a married lady with 2 daughters. And I sent out a general letter recently to many disciples. Just a little tag on the end, please, if ever you can, please also try to distribute Prabhupada's books. So she took it up straight away. She went out with another devotee on the street in Newcastle and tried to distribute books, something she hasn't done for decades. And she was almost scared. It was like, she wanted to go shot to shot, the other lady wanted to go on the street, so they ended up on the street. Fortunately, the snow stopped. It was snowing. It was freezing. They went out. And she said, I only did 1 or 2 books. But when I came back, after a few hours, she said, I felt glow. I felt so happy and inspired. I said, I felt such a happy feeling inside my heart. So it's not the numbers, it's the trying, it's the sacrifice, connecting with Krishna. When we connect with Krishna, then we'll get that experience. So, Krishna reciprocating. But if we don't try, then you're not likely to get a result. And some little things there, just some food for thought. How we can be more part of this movement, and especially the programs. Even if nobody takes a book, you kick yourself if someone comes along and wants a book and you haven't got any, isn't it? A new person comes along and you're talking about Bhagavad Gita, and they say, well, can I have a Bhagavad Gita? And you say, here's the address where you can get one. And you go there, and there's no one there with a key for the book room. Then they open the book room, there's no Bhagavad Gita's not there. We've only got a Hindi one, and they don't speak Hindi. You kick yourself, right? The person wants the Bhagavad Gita, I don't even have one. So I'm sure you've got books here, but it's nice to put them on a table somewhere, priority. Just a tip. Because we can also be a part of taking them beyond the windows and walls of this room or our home and distributing or installing the deities in the form of books in other people's homes. Prabhupada said these books are like deities. And when they sit in someone's house, they slowly, slowly change the person's heart. Even if they don't read them, they're sitting there. Just imagine, how many congregation, community members are there in ISKCON worldwide? Do you know how many?
150,000.
Pardon?
150,000.
In Wellington?
What?
In Lower Hutt. Including all the birds and the dogs and trees and everyone, all the other devotees in Lower Hutt. How many? Pardon? Yes, please. How many?
1 billion.
My God, we've gone up to 1 billion now. We'll win the election, I think, if it's 1 billion. Next one? Something in between, maybe.
5 million.
5 million? Okay, pretty good number. Well, let's be a little, not too conservative, but not too optimistic also. Well, let's say, we tend to over-exaggerate sometimes. But it's a pretty conservative, reasonable number. When we say community members, congregation, people who identify themselves, there's more people than we think who consider themselves kind of a part of the Hare Krishna movement. You know? Maybe they just come to the program, or they like to support the movement. They may not be seriously practicing. No problem. We're doing some service. The estimate is around about 1 million, approximately. It may be more. Probably is. But let's just say it's a million. I mean, in Russia, there's already known 100,000 in Russia alone. Maybe more, but that's known. People are quite seriously connected. In India, it depends how far we take it, but those who are approaching Krishna through Islam, there are many other devotees and Vaishnavas. Let's just say in Islam, definitely in Islam, there are many hundreds and hundreds of thousands with every town. So probably at least 1 million worldwide. Now imagine if every one of those million were to distribute one book a week. And this is a very difficult mathematical formula. 1 million people distribute one book a week. Can anyone work out how many books a week that would be? Anyone study additional mathematics at university that can give us the answer? How many books?
1 million.
How many? Wow, that was quick. Jeez, the ladies are so expert at mathematics. 1 million books. You have a calculator there, don't you? I tell you, some people are like that. You go to the bank, you give them like 2 $10 notes, and they have to do it on an adding machine. Brains that. 1 million books. And in a year? 52 million. 52 million books a year. That's quite a lot. Say you've got 300. Just say you've got 300 devotees in Wellington. You've got the devotees in the Bhakti Lounge. Is it called the Bhakti Lounge downtown? Still the Bhakti Lounge. Maybe something has changed according to the need. So maybe there's a few hundred devotees or friends there, and you've probably got 300 or 400 Indian friends or members of your local centers and preaching centers and so on. So say for all together 500, and everyone does a book a week. That's 500 books. It's not much to us. Times 50, how many is that? Come on, now we're giving you a difficult one. 500 times 50, how many is that? 2,500, oh, very good. A little bit more, 20, let's say 2,600, okay? 52 weeks. 2,600. That's not very many, but it's more than none. 2,600 more than 0. It's great. You can do more than one book there. I'm sure you've heard of a devotee, those who are regulars, of a devotee named by Sheshika. He's famous. He lives San Jose. It's a lot of Indian people live there, just outside San Francisco. And he has his temple there. There's no one living in the temple, generally. They're all like you. 95% of the devotees he works with are from Indian backgrounds. He's American. And he's got so many, even little children. Some of the children are the best book distributors. He's inspired them all in Sankirtan, both Harinam and book distribution. And hundreds and hundreds of them distribute books regularly. Okay, it's a bigger field than Wellington, admittedly. But nonetheless, hundreds of them are inspired in book distribution. Hundreds. When I was with him one time, he spends November in Govardhan in India. I visited him one time. I was standing in his room, and he just had a message, a text message, from one of the congregation back in San Jose. They said, this weekend, because he's in Paraguay, this weekend, the message was, we distribute between us 2,500 Bhagavad Gitas. Just amongst the Indian, they're all working people, married people. Between them, they distribute 2,500 Bhagavad Gitas in one weekend. Can you imagine? Not expecting you to do that here in Wellington, but you can certainly do more than none. It's not difficult to do more than zero. It's difficult to do less than zero, but to do more is not so difficult. It actually is possible to do less than zero. Somebody gives you the book back or something, or you take it back. But it's not difficult to do more. So just think, as a community, please know that you can distribute more books. You can get together, those who are in a position to, have a nice weekend festival on a park or somewhere, Harinam, issue Prasadam, and have books there, put up a book table. You'd be surprised. People just come up to the book table. They're only coming to you if you have a book table. Most of those books, by the way, they distribute on book tables. It's not going up to people on the street. That's hard, no doubt. You have to be more seasoned. But stand, you just sit there, you have a book table, or a book on a cloth even, and you'll be surprised. People will come up. It's a really blissful experience. And very, very magnanimous activity. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Leave this food for thought there. But especially in your programs, wherever you go, even in house programs, even if no one takes it, they're still there. You know, if you go to someone's house and they have no altar, we expect that maybe. But amongst devotees, you expect them to have an altar of some kind, right? In India, people may have some demigod altar or whatever it is. Something is there. There's something connected. Christians will have, you know, a cross or Jesus or something. You expect something there. So simply with the books, you expect to see the books there. Many times we go to devotees' houses and they have all the books there. And sometimes they're really looking after them nicely. They haven't even taken the plastic off the books in 10 years. They're really preserving the books very nicely. Definitely worshipping them very well. They haven't opened them, any of them yet. Or they're so thick with dust on the top that you have to get a duster and clean them off. Either way. And we also should try to, you know, associate with the books more than just an occasional look. Sometimes they haven't even opened the boxes. They're still in sealed boxes for the last 15 years, you know.
That's typical Indian.
Yeah. Well, that's another teaching of Lord Chaitanya. Another statement of Lord Chaitanya regarding that. What does Lord Chaitanya say about who are we?
Krishna Das.
Yeah, we're the eternal servants of Krishna. Well, let's bring it back to the earth planet. What are we or what are we not, let's say? Naham Viko Naham Viko Nachanarapati Nahivo Vaishona Shuddha Naham Vani Nachavipati Gobanasti Tika. I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a Shastra, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra, nor a Brahmachari, Vyasa, or Sannyas. None of those things. I'm the eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. And one of the things that the body, Yashyatma Buddhi Prapeta Dharake Svadika Tradishu Bhome Jadi Yatirtha Buddhi Shulena Kaya one of the things that the body, whether we think we're Indian, or English, or Kiwi, or whatever it is, you know, Japanese, Chinese, Zambian, Fiji, what else in other countries, Kenya, so on and so forth. What are we if we think we're that? What are we?
Servant of the servant.
Huh? Say Gokara. Gokara. Cow or ass. You're just like an animal. Pretty heavy. That's statement of Bhagavatam. You're just like an animal or illusion thinking I am this and that. We're not ultimately this or that. So it's not just Indian, I think everybody has this tendency. We're lazy in spiritual life in Kali Yuga. We're very lazy for spiritual life. Too much trouble. It's easier to turn the television on than to open a book, isn't it? It's easier to go on the internet, on Facebook, and have a chat with somebody about nothing than it is to open up a book and read. And just recently I read that Sussex University in England did a study of stress. I mean, of course in Wellington nobody has any stress, right? There's no stress in Wellington.
No.
There's only distress. Same word, distress, stress, it's the same basically. One is die and the other one is live, I suppose. Stress, we don't die, but die stress, distress. They're both unwanted, they come in their own way. You get stressed and then you become distressed. Stress leads to die stress. Distress. But everywhere in the world, isn't there stress? Is that right? Work stress, family stress, personal stress over God knows what. It's like we've got to be in stress, otherwise there's something wrong with you. I'm feeling so stressed out. What's wrong with that? You're supposed to be. I don't feel any stress. What's wrong with you? You're like part of life. It's like majorly stressed out almost. Well, most people experience, they may or may not know, but most people are experiencing stress. That's an unnatural emotional feeling inside, which is uncomfortable. And sometimes you become depressed or distressed. How did I get onto that? What was I talking about? Oh, don't let me down.
Servant of the servant of the servant. Servant of the servant of the servant is that topic.
We are
Yeah.
our position. We are like animals.
Are we? Okay, you're admitted it at least. Honest man here, we're like animals. Stress. Oh yeah, I was in Sussex University. See, you have very good memories, you guys. That was the last thing I was talking about. They did a survey on stress. Because so many people, it's the biggest disease in the world, you know. Biggest disease, people suffering stress, various kinds. So they did a survey on that, and then they did an analysis of various ways that they discovered how to reduce stress. Quite an interesting survey. I don't know if you can take it factually, but it's certainly in the direction of factual knowledge. It may not be accurate in detail, but quite an astonishing statement they made. They said they discovered, all the people they analyzed, that almost the average, they said, of people who just spent 5 or 10 minutes sitting down and reading a book, they found their stress levels went down 50%. Just 5 or 10 minutes sitting down reading a book. No need to take drugs. Or go to the, boxing club or something and take it out on a punch bag or whatever it is. Or somebody else home or whatever. Or just become depressed. Just sitting down and reading a book, they said that on average people's stress levels went down up to 50%. Pretty good. I mean, imagine you sit down and read Prabhupada's books for 5 or 10 minutes every day. It'd be wonderful. And you can even use that as a leverage to get others to read them too. If you read this book for 5 or 10 minutes every day, your stress levels will go up, down, I mean. Down. Their stress levels may go up because Prabhupada said, stop your nonsense, No more sense gratification. Oh. but in reality it releases us from the cause of stress, not just the effect. So let us now do some pranayama. Okay? Ready? Okay. So we've got on the screen here Srinam. Srinam, why Sri? Because it is the personality of God. The name is Krishna. So we're going to sing a beautiful song. Very simple song. We just have a little time, we just put 2 simple songs on. Srinam. Who wants to operate the computer? Well, you can take it if you want, because this song I don't need. Ooh, it's a different system to mine. Huh? Oh, a remote. Yeah, okay, you can go on the remote. You can use it there. Yeah. So this is a beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srinam. We normally call it. I have to readjust here because my cloth is disoriented. Excuse me. Srinam. And in this song, well, you can see what the first verse is about. In this song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that whether we're a grihastha or a vanaprastha, one living in the city or in the forest, it doesn't matter. He said everybody chant the holy name of Krishna. Whether we're happy or distressed, always fill the lips with the holy name. We're toiling in this material world fruitlessly, trying to enjoy ourselves. Fruitlessly, because it all comes to a fruitless end. Dead end. And now we've attained this rare human birth, where consciousness has evolved to a certain extent. Unfortunately, we don't chant the names of Radha and Krishna. We chant other things. This life, this human life, it says, may end at any moment. And we have failed to engage our senses in the service of the master of the senses. It's like a real brief, a summary of our whole philosophy, you could say. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, at least once in this lifetime, relish the chanting of the holy names. This is our only, shelter, our only means of perfection. It's applying the medicine to ourselves. The chanting of the holy name is like transcendental medicinal application, which to the degree that we absorb or allow the holy name to enter, penetrate our inner consciousness will become purified. We can also put blocks and barriers between us and the holy name. All kinds of material concepts or material desires or distractions of various kinds. But if we allow the holy name to enter into the core of our consciousness, the holy name will purify our consciousness. It's non-different than Krishna. So the Lord Chaitanya, he says, it's Mahaprabhu singing in a very sweet voice of this Mahamantra. So we may not be able to sing, but let's sing from the heart, let's sing with our consciousness. Let's say absorbed in the sound of the holy name and the glorification of the holy name. These songs of our acharyas, our spiritual guides, are said to be none different than the transcendental holy name of God himself. And their explanations of the holy name, and their guidelines how we can approach the holy name in a way the holy name will reciprocate more and more and more. So please join in. This is too big. We've got our musicians over here. The brothers are ready. Oh Bit wobbly on the road. Have you drunk too much tonight or what? Been drinking? I know there's too much prasad before you came there. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh. And one more song, as I know we have to finish by 8 o'clock. This is another wonderful, beautiful song. This one is compiled by Lochan Das Thakur, a great follower of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, disciple of Narahari Sharakar, one direct disciple or follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lochan Das Thakur has written also many songs. And in his famous book, Chaitanya Mangala, he is also a biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his, you could say, interaction or experience of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So you get a variety of perspective of the pastimes. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, Krishna Das Kaviraj, Goswami and others, and Lochan Das on the life and pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in Lochan Das, particularly in his songs, which he's written apparently in very simple Bengali, so that people in general can imbibe, so we can capture the mood of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Who is Lord Chaitanya? Who is Lord Nityananda? What is their mission? What is their problem? Why cannot we embrace that mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What's blocking us? Hold on a minute, don't be too impatient, young lady. We'll start singing in a minute. Wants to sing straight away. Very good. Enthusiasm, lolium, greed, wants to get straight in there. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explains it in very simple Bengali language. We don't maybe speak Bengali, so. But we can understand a little bit from the English of the spirit of this song. When Lochan Das Thakur is describing this Gaur Nityananda Doya, that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are most merciful. They're like an ocean of mercy. We get a little mercy sometimes from people, but an ocean of mercy, a drop we get sometimes. A little drop comes our way. And then it dries up. But an ocean of mercy does not dry up. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's mercy is unending. It's free for all. Anyone can immerse themselves in that ocean of mercy which they are made available through this Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya, described by Krishna Das Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya has appeared in this world for two purposes. One, to taste himself. This is God, but he wants to taste what it's like to love God. So he appears in his form of Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to taste the ecstasy which Radharani experiences, the love of Godhead. So to experience that prema, that Krishna prema, along with the performance of congregational chanting, Nama Sankirtanam, chanting of the holy names in congregation. Thus the Lord appears along with his devotees, his eternal associates, and they spread the holy names even to the untouchables, wherever they may be, in far countries of the world, everywhere. And in this way they deliver everybody. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes weaves a wreath and a garland, which is compiled of Krishna Prema and Nam Sankirtan, in which he garlands the entire material world with this wreath. We just have to put that garland on us. It's for everyone. We're the garland of Nam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names, and of course we may not be experiencing Krishna Prema, but if we immerse ourselves in that ocean, that is the ocean of prema. Prema is an ocean of prema. And that ocean, let's say, becomes manifest by absorbing ourselves in congregational chanting. That was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal method of enabling us to enter into that spiritual ocean, by giving us the chance to absorb ourselves in Nam Sankirtan. This is his mercy. With other incarnations of Godhead, other great personalities come in this world, they say surrender, do this, do that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just coming with open arms, just take it. Just take the holy name as your life and soul, just take it. It's free. This is a Christ in a sense of faith, but it's there. You don't have to, everyone is eligible to take it. There is no one who is disqualified in one sense. Only we ourselves make ourselves disqualified, but there is no other disqualification. It's open even to the most fallen, sinful persons. Everyone, no matter where we're from. So he's the most magnanimous in all the three worlds. There's no one more magnanimous than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. They are giving a process which is simply joyful, Kevalananda Bhakti. It is simply joyful. Just dance and chant. What is the difficulty? What is the difficulty? Maybe we can't dance because we're physically unable, but we can chant, we can hear, we can participate in our hearts. Whatever, we can take part in the sankirtan. And thus our hearts become purified. The special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's made this freely available even to non-humans, what to speak of humans. When Lord Chaitanya was in the forest of Jharikand, he delivered all the animals there. The birds, the beasts, all living entities were delivered to the spiritual plane through the Sankirtan movement of chanting the holy names. It's the nature of everyone to engage in bhajan. Right now we're engaged in bojan, trying to enjoy ourselves. It's changing O to A about bhajan. But it has to be connected to Krishna, not just singing. We have to remember the goal. We have to focus on our goals also. And what is the block? The block is that we're engaged in bhojan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or rather Lord Chaitanya says, the problem is, in order to actually enter into this ocean, we have to be Vishayacharya Sevrasi Majya. We have to be Vishayacharya. We have to be free of this bhojan. We have to be free of this objective. Some people chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, please give me a nice house. Hare Krishna, please give me a nice wife. Krishna, Krishna, give me many nice sons and daughters. Hare Hare, and lots of money to go with it. Hare Rama, maybe with my great grandmother live a long life. Hare Rama, maybe we have, all kinds of nice facilities. Rama, maybe have a new mobile phone, the latest Apple Mac iPhone. And Hari, may I go to heaven. What we chanted. Or maybe even worse. Hare Krishna, get rid of that guy over there. Hare Rama, it's my wife. Rama, it's my husband. Hare, it's this thing and that thing. Hare Rama. Yes, they're all. Why is everybody here? They're all to blame for my problems. Rama. We're chanting like, a completely different world of Krishna consciousness. Or maybe even more in the mode of ignorance. Preparing ourselves for the pig body, huh? Rama! I'm feeling really giddy. I don't know why I'm feeling so giddy. How do you giddy? Chant very long. I feel so giddy. How do you giddy? When you were feeling giddy, you were calling out for the god of the giddy god. How do you giddy? Wrong. Snake god. So the Snikaloka. Buffalo. And our mind is wandering off to some mundane thing. We're attached. We naturally go. The mind goes to where our attachments lie, generally. At least we're tempted like that. We have to constantly bring it back. If we want to develop an attachment to Krishna, we have to associate with Krishna. We develop an attachment to things by association. We have to associate with the name Krishna. Instead of understanding Krishna, Hare Krishna, we're associating with our mind's attachments to so many things. As passionate, sometimes ignorant, whatever it may be, sometimes goodness. They're all material. Try to develop our attraction to Krishna by association with Krishna. Try to hear the sound of the name, at least chant it. And then until we have to be free. If we want to get a taste of the holy name, we have to be willing at least to give up this attachment to material, mundane, self. It doesn't mean material life, it means selfish or unnecessary material indulgences. We have to do our duty, we have to maintain family, we have to maintain a body. A certain amount of sense gratification is normal, but we become overwhelmed with the pursuit of unnecessary sensual pleasures, accumulating things, etc. So, this is our misfortune. But Lord Chaitanya still is very merciful, the devotees are very merciful, still giving us this encouragement, chant, chant, chant. But Lord Chandas, he regrets that despite all of this, he's most unfortunate because he is attached to material sense gratification. Therefore, he said, Yamaraj is not punishing me, because it's not giving me any taste of the holy name. It's not, in one sense, Yamaraj, but it works like that because it attracts the sense gratification. You become a candidate, you could say, for Yamaraj. So we remain in this material world absorbed in sense gratification with no taste for the holy name. Lord Chaitanya says, I have no taste for the holy name because of fancies, whatever it is. But we have no taste. So to develop a taste, you have to chant. If you want to develop a taste for liquor, how many of you like liquor? Liquor. You know what liquor is? Not licorice. Liquor. What's licorice?
Mulatti.
It's not cold liquor, licorice. What is it?
Mulatti.
Huh?
Mulatti in Hindi.
Velasti?
Mulatti.
Velasti, Sanskrit word for liquor. Velasti. How many would like Velasti? What is it in Fiji? What they Toddy? Fiji Toddy? What they call it?
Fiji bitter. Fiji bitter.
What's Toddy?
Toddy.
Huh?
Kava. Kava.
Huh?
Kava.
Kava.
Kawa.
Kava. What's kava?
It's like,
Liquor.
Huh?
it's like
Yeah, like a kava. It must be Toddy is another language. I know somewhere I go they call it Toddy. Maybe in Malaysia or something. What do they call it in Malaysia? Where's that Malaysia now? What do they call it in Malaysia?
Toddy.
Toddy, there you go, Toddy. Okay, yeah, I know you like Toddy. What do you have to do to develop a taste for Toddy? What do you have to do? Huh? This is for the man, ladies. What do you have to do?
Climb the coconut tree. Climb the coconut tree.
Climb the tree, okay. Anyway, you have to, but to develop a taste, that's the methodology. But what's your taste? What's the, how do you develop a taste? Huh? You have to drink it, right? You may not like it in the beginning, but if you keep drinking, right, you become a Toddy addict. You get attached, right? Or come or whatever it's called. Philosophy or whatever. You become attached to it. You get addicted if you're not careful, right? You can't, your mind is just, you can't, you're just hankering to it all the time, Trying to, you can't control it. So like that Prabhupada said, if you want to develop, you have to keep chanting, you'll become a chanter. You become enchanted. Chant. So like that. Then of course material attachments are there. But by associating with Krishna, our spiritual attachments can start to grow. And gradually they will eclipse the material attachments. We have to keep that effort to associate with the holy name, with the devotees, with Krishna, and so on. Okay, we'll sing the song. You ready? Okay. Two beat again, I'm afraid. Actually, I sing it a little different. We always used to sing it different, and then somehow or another, this slightly at the end has been introduced. Like we sang in we started singing this in 1972. We used to sing bhajans every day of the week in the temple when I joined. For 30 minutes doing bhajans. That's how we learned some of these bhajans. I'll sing the tune I'm more used to. I could sing both, but I prefer this one. Paramo Karuna overtime, we get extra wages for overtime. And you tell me what you want to do now. The question is, do you have any questions? They're all scared of asking questions now because it's pushed out of the time, I think, isn't it? Any quick question? Quick questions. Simple, quick question. Come on. Come on, ladies. You got the brains. Yes, Nandeshwar.
I haven't formulated this properly yet, so forgive me if it comes out rough.
English, right?
Yeah.
So Maharaj, thank you for a very inspiring class.
Book distribution, huh?
Yeah. My question was about, you said among society there are all the varnas are there. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But we also hear in Bhagavatam that we're all born Shudra. So I would just like to know how to put these two statements together.
Yeah. Well, even traditionally, people are born, in a sense, Shudra, even though they're born in an ordinary family. They're elevated by samskaras. They're elevated by proper education, proper association. Even though they're born in a Brahmin family, they still have to have that. Proper upbringing, proper education, proper samskaras, etc. So the art of education is to bring out, we're born, basically, as he said, Shudra, but to bring out whatever qualities it is in that person. Because you can look around now to see what the problem is in the world is the mentality of the people, is their consciousness. Now, they may not be doing exactly Shudra activities, but their mentality is Shudra. They're naturally inclined to manage. They're naturally inclined to do business. You can see that? Some people are, and some people aren't. You find some people they try to imitate. Business is a typical field of imitation. And many people, they think that if I do business, I'll make money. They do business and they lose everything. Certain people have got a natural inclination for business. They don't have to be taught. They just have to be facilitated with, depending on the society, but some guidelines may be in place, some laws are in place. So in the Vedic society, if a person has that proclivity, it's the consciousness which has to be developed, not necessarily the proclivity. The proclivity has to be facilitated, but if you don't develop the consciousness, they're no better than Shudras. But people are all basically in that Shudra consciousness, ignorance, and they have to be educated how to do what they're doing. They already have a spirit for business. You don't have to learn it. The best businessmen in the world, many of them don't go through college. They don't study. One time one of the top businessmen in the world gave a lecture at Harvard University, to the business school at Harvard University. And here in his presentation, he said, I'm giving you honest advice here. If you want to be a good businessman, you're wasting your time here. So this will be my only lecture in your university, so I better say what I want to say quick. And because he knew he wouldn't be invited back if he told them all they're wasting their time there. But he actually honestly said that. It's not a question of learning techniques. People who learn techniques are Shudras, basically. You can learn techniques if you've got the special proclivity. The thing you can become that by learning techniques is you just become a Shudra. You have to work for people who know how to do it. They employ you in doing all the dog's work, all the accountancy and all the headaches and all the hard work out in the field, surveying and all this and that, whatever it is, They employ us. But it's like Prabhupada gives the example of Ford, Henry Ford. No, he was able to build a massive empire, basically. But you knew next to nothing about motor mechanics. You knew how to engage people to get something done. He's a Vaishya. You get some people, you don't get so many Kshatriyas and Brahmins, unfortunately. But there are people who do have, capacity to manage, and if they're conscious with it, if they become understanding Krishna conscious, the idea in the Vedic society is that everyone, whether they're Kshatriya, Brahmin, Vaishya, or Shudra, should be Krishna conscious. And then their activity becomes, Krishna empowers them also, but their activity becomes really beneficial. So the education is to analyze, to understand what is the best occupation for a person from the moment they're born. Because they're born with they'll become, God knows what they become. If they don't get the right facility, the right association, the right education, they can become something awful. And we've also experienced that in many cases nowadays, you go to school and you're almost channeled to become something which you really don't feel comfortable with. You're not at home with it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that which you're naturally happy being in association with is your character, your natural quality. Find that. Whatever you want to call it, it has its part to play in society. So you have to see what the natural proclivity is, but otherwise they remain Shudras. And education is to facilitate whatever samskaras are within us. Okay, they're not so pure in this age, they're little mix, but to bring it out in people, and to bring it out in the direction of Krishna, not just for the sake of having a society with people situated in more natural situations. Modern day society is not so aligned in that direction. To some extent you find there are areas where that is going on, but in most cases it's not. You're kind of made to think you're wrong if you do something whatever. You're supposed to become something else, and you become very disturbed. That means you're not rightly situated. But there are people in the world, even though their mentality is like that, they're a shooter, but they're good at managing, they're good at making money, they're good at organizing things, they're good scholars, but they're just doing the wrong thing. They're not educated to do it properly. So thus, they have the mentality of lamenting, they're very selfish. It's a Sudra mentality. Sudra mentality. You understand? They've got the mentality of a Sudra. Even though they have a propensity to do this, and this. They're scholars, but they're just well, described by Bhaktivinoda in another song, they're just like big asses, animals. Because their scholarship is just gross. But they have the capacity to scholarship. They have the capacity to manage, to rule. They have the capacity to do business. They have the capacity for this and that. But they're misusing it. That's correct. They're misusing it. The education in this age is to try to help people to use it in a proper way. Not the exploitative way, but for the real welfare of all living entities and for the pleasure of Krishna. Otherwise they're considered Shudra. But as you rightly said, most people in this age don't have, or if they do, they're dull. They're kept dull purposely, so they don't have challenging mentality, they don't have any ability to see what's going on. They're intoxicated. They're intoxicated by sense enjoyment or by literal intoxication. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Hare Krishna. So the books are manifested at the back? Yes? No. Yes or no? It's either yes or no. Hare Krishna. Thank you, God. We should all, I don't know about you, but I hope that we should all, in our, if we do prayers when they're chanting for the welfare of Amrish's departed family members, pray for their welfare, and unexpected circumstances, Krishna's taken them away. We hope that they're also on their path towards Godhead somewhere. Maybe, I don't know if they were practicing devotees or not. associated with the devotee boards. They're very fortunate souls.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. It is always nice to hear from you and have your association, and this time was no different. It was very inspiring at the beginning regarding book distribution. And Amrit Shravan Mataji have organized a wide range of Sri Prabhupada's books. And we normally have them here, but I need to apologize due to my oversight. They're not here this week, but normally we have them here every week.
Well, they've all been distributed, right? All of them.
That's right.
Today, all of the boys went out on the streets of Lower Hutt and there's no books left.
So thank you very much, Maharaj, and we hope that at JSD we can have many more opportunities to host you and have your mercy. Haribol. His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki